The driver of the stolen car has since been disqualified from driving for 3 years and sentenced to 12 months in prison.
There's more action with X-Cars at the same time of 8:30 next Monday night here on BBC One.
Tomorrow at 10, Crime Watch UK is back, and as always, we need your help. At Goodnestone in Kent, Lynn Russell and her daughters were brutally attacked. Miraculously, one survived. A man was seen acting very strangely. Who was he? And in Preston, Lancashire, witnesses saw a man where Janet Murgatroyd was last seen alive. Do you know who he is? A new day and a new time for Crime Watch UK, tomorrow at 10 on BBC One.
When you spend your life helping others...
I'm not in a position to advise that you retire.
I cannot do a health check on everybody who comes to see me.
Sometimes you forget to help yourself.
When did you become a police surgeon, Paul? Was it after the accident?
How long have you been here, Craig?
Nigel Avalant returns as Dangerfield, with family and career in critical condition.
The chief constable can't face what's coming to him, so he's got his pet police surgeon to get him off the hook.
There are too many memories here, Marty.
Dangerfield, Friday, 9:30 on BBC One.
Look at him! Look at him!
The stars of Dangerfield are featured in the new Radio Times, together with complete listings for all television and major satellite channels. There's comedy over on BBC Two in a moment as burglars threaten the peace for Sykes. Here on BBC One, in half an hour, Brazen Gate CID go to work for the homeless in Out of the Blue. Before that, the main evening news with Michael Burke.
The French and Germans are planning to sideline the City of London if Britain doesn't join the European single currency. The city says thousands of jobs and London's role as an international financial centre are at risk. Britain's buying the £40 billion Eurofighter, but the Germans could still block the deal. And the scientists peel back 6 centuries to find what they believe is the heart of Robert the Bruce. Good evening. Thousands of jobs in the City of London could be at risk under strict rules being proposed for operating the single European currency. If Britain doesn't join the system, the rules would mean that banks here would have restricted and more expensive access to single currency funds for foreign exchange trading. London's business leaders have warned that the city would then lose business to Frankfurt and Paris.
The finishing touches are being put to Europe's newest and tallest skyscraper. The Commerzbank headquarters, rising 1,000 feet high, symbolises Frankfurt's growing desire to usurp London as the continent's financial hub.
Und das sage ich voller Stolz.
Commerzbank chairman Martin Kohlhausen is confident that Frankfurt will be the prime beneficiary of the single currency. Many of those attending a ceremony inside the Commerzbank building believe that rules now being proposed will allow them to snatch business from their British rivals.
We hope that a lot of European business now in London will actually come back to Frankfurt and to Paris. And we are setting up strong forces in Paris also. But there's a hope that we would attract a lot of European business and Euro business back to Frankfurt and take away from London.
At meetings involving the Bank of England governor, Germany and France are pushing a regime which could undermine London's financial dominance if Britain doesn't take part in monetary union. British banks would have only restricted and more expensive access to the single currency funds they need for foreign exchange trading.
There is a question of principle which cannot be avoided in the long term. Does Britain want to be part of this system or not? And it can't expect to have all the benefits of the system without participation.
The main negotiators at these sensitive talks believe that by shackling London, they'll limit the amount of speculation on the foreign exchanges against the new single currency, hoping to prevent the turbulence which damaged the old ERM.
We believe that the European monetary union will be a stability-based monetary union.
Frankfurt's bankers working out at the city's fitness gallery believe they're in good shape to exploit London's difficulties over monetary union. In a highly competitive industry, they argue that politics and finance are hard to separate. For the Germans and the French, this is a matter of principle. Any compromise is unlikely to be favourable to London. Several banks are understood to be examining the possibility of moving more operations to Frankfurt, just in case there's no alternative. In London, the impact of the proposals is still being assessed. Many here think the capital will remain at the heart of European finance, finding a way around the rules. But the city authorities fear thousands of jobs are at risk, unless the regulations are fought off.
It's politically driven by the French and the Germans. They're determined to achieve this type of currency union. They are envious of the market share that London has developed over recent years, and therefore, as part of the drive to make it work, they're going to be determined to try and write the rules in a way that's unfavourable to London.
At the Bank of England this evening, preparations are underway for more talks in Frankfurt tomorrow. Officials will argue that any discrimination would breach the EU's single market rules. Legal action could be taken. Deputy Governor Howard Davies is adamant London will be protected.
We do not believe that the City of London's status as Europe's premier financial market will be damaged significantly by membership or non-membership of Economic and Monetary Union. The city's strengths are very fundamental and will remain.
But back in Germany, bankers have long felt like the poor relatives of European finance. Now they're convinced that if the new rules are agreed, they could be the eventual winners. Jonathan Charles, BBC News, Frankfurt.
Iraqi forces are reported to have withdrawn from the Kurdish-held town of Arbil in northern Iraq. But the United States has warned Saddam Hussein that his incursion into the safe haven would not go unpunished. Tension has been rising in the area since the Iraqi army moved into northern Iraq on Saturday, well inside the UN-designated no-fly.